Good evening and welcome to our December Show Low Unified School District Board meeting. Before we begin, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We hope that you find joy in these holidays. With that said, we would like to extend our condolences and love and support for the Rawlings family. We hope and pray for their comfort and we're appreciative of all that has been shown from the community for them. We'd remind you that services tomorrow will be broadcast at the Show Low LDS Stake Center for the public to attend if you would like to. I'll now call this meeting to order. We'll have a Pledge of Allegiance by Stacy Anderson, followed by myself. Will offer the invocation.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful to be here this evening. We're grateful for this opportunity to serve in the community in this capacity. I'm personally grateful for each person on the board and for their intelligence and mindfulness in fulfilling their responsibilities. Would ask for a blessing upon each one of them as they serve and upon their families. We're grateful for our administration and ask for a blessing upon them in their respective responsibilities. We're grateful for our staff members, grateful for their efforts and behalf of our children in their education, and ask for a blessing upon them and their families also. We're extremely grateful for the efforts of those who help our children to learn and increase in their capacities in preparation for adulthood. We would ask that that would help us to be able to make the decisions that will best suit our students and their families in the district. We ask for these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 3.2, recognition of legendary staff members.
I would invite the board to go around to the front. We have one. We'll ask Mr. Marchant to come up and Mr. Fawcett.
All right. Thank you for having us. Tonight, I'm honored to present Mr. Tanner Fawcett as a legendary teacher for Show Low High School this month. Tanner teaches regular and honors English 10 to our sophomores. He coaches basketball and golf and oversees a new writing club at Show Low High School. He has quickly become one of our most consistently great teachers in every way possible. Administrators love him because he's extremely organized, always prepares lessons, turns everything in on time, never shies away from providing quality feedback on school functions, things like that. His colleagues love him because he's always willing to share great ideas, help cover their classes, and is professional in everything he does. And most importantly, the students love him because of his passion for teaching, his engaging lessons, and his commitment to building positive relationships with every student. Mr. Fawcett embodies the definition of growth mindset. He could have easily plateaued at the end of his first year of teaching and nobody would have complained because he was highly effective at that time already. Yet year after year, he pushes himself to become better. This year, he has become more efficient in his grading practices to be able to then spend that saved time in each day to provide extra feedback through grading and grade reporting. He has also volunteered to be a part of our standards-based grading committee. And within one day after our first meeting, he already created the skeleton outline of our grading handbook that the committee will work through. So I interviewed some students to gain their perspective on Mr. Fawcett and how he is as a teacher. And the moment I mentioned Mr. Fawcett, they lit up and said, "Oh, I love him. He's the best." I asked if there are any specific projects or activities that he's done that were particularly engaging, because kids just say, "Oh, they're the best." And I go, "Okay, well, what makes that the best? Is there anything specific?" And one girl said, "Literally every day is engaging. I can't pick out something specific." Another student said that he is very open and isn't afraid to be, quote, a little dorky, like with his Star Wars stuff, but he's cool. And so I couldn't have explained Mr. Fawcett any better myself. So we are so fortunate to have such a great Sholo alumni like Mr. Fawcett teaching for us, and we hope he stays here forever. So thanks. Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Fawcett, thank you for being here with us tonight. We very much appreciate you and all the work that you do in your classroom for our kids. Thank you. All right, Mr. President.
Thank you. Okay, item 3.3, robotics team to announce upcoming events.
Mr. President, we'd like to invite the robotics team to come up. Are all of you coming up or just some of you? Yeah, all of you can come up. They promised they would do a song and dance and then talk their way out of it. No, just kidding. They have a great report for us. So.
Okay. Well, we thank you for allowing us to come and speak to you this evening. My name is Jay Solons. I'm the team captain of Cougar Pride Robotics.
I'm Eric Scarlett. I'm the vice captain.
I'm Cheyenne McKinley. I'm the secretary and treasurer.
So we've made a lot of progress since the start of this year for robotics. We've recently moved into our new robotics facility, and we're making excellent progress on that. We've teamed up with the Shola High School construction class, and they're helping us with the drywall and electrical currently, and as well as the installation. And we're hoping to see some more progress over the next school year. So hand it off to Eric.
So we've gained a lot of support from our community. We've gained roughly $20,000 through grants and community support. Our top sponsors are Unisource, Standard Electric, Ace Hardware, Salt River Project, and Bianco Plumbing. And we would like to invite all of them and you to our event on January 4th, which Cheyenne will talk about in more detail.
So January 4th is the start of our build season. That will be the day that we learn our new challenge for the year. We invite you to the Shola High School cafeteria from 7 a.m. to around noon to come and join us in our engineering process and to give us creative ideas on our robot that we will be building this year.
So on this letter, it's all the information that pertains to this event. So time, place, food is also provided. So there's that incentive. But once again, we thank you for all the support you've given our program. We really couldn't do it without you. And you really are helping the next generation of innovators and the people who will eventually be leading this country and, developing the new inventions that make this world a better place. Once again, we thank you for that.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. coming and reporting for us.
When's your next competition?
I believe it's March sometime. So the first one we'll be going to is in Flagstaff at the Northern Arizona University. After that, we'll be going to Las Vegas for a competition there. And then if we qualify at either of those competitions, we will be advancing to the world competition in Houston, Texas.
Awesome.
So will you come report to us?
Absolutely.
Let us know. Let us know what happens in January too, because that's where you'll get your assignment, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, we could probably bring in a partial robot that we've been working on and show you what's going on.
Good deal. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. We're really proud of what you do.
Thank you.
Really impressed. Thanks, guys.
Can we get this on the marquee, and is it already on the high school website? This is great.
But I can do that.
Thanks. Did you get one of these?
I did.
Okay. Super. Item 3.4, call to the audience. Did we have anything? No? Okay, thank you. Item 3.5, superintendent report. Mr. Housley.
Mr. President, members of the board, we have quite a bit to report, but I'll try to keep it short and concise tonight. We are jumping right in the middle of our winter sports. We have all of that going on. We have just completed the Feast of Carols. I can't remember right offhand what year that is, but
35?
Cynthia said something. It was a high number. I knew that.
35.
35 years of Feast of Carols, and
Almost as old as you.
those kids did a wonderful
Not
job. We also are coming into our winter concert season, and we have a junior high concert this evening and other concerts coming around. So we're really excited about what that is. It's kind of we're wrapping up, getting ready to go into the holiday break, but there's so much that happens in the 15 days of school in December. You pack a whole bunch into those 15 days. So we're really excited about that. Students are taking benchmark assessments, some this week and some into next week, and kind of wrapping that piece up. We've done some exploration of calendar, continuing the discussion that we've had in work sessions previous. Met with all the staff and kind of got feedback on different calendars and things the public will see. Some of those discussions coming their way in January. To get the public's feedback on that also. We have began to, I know the board last meeting asked that we would bring back a budget for the remaining portion of the bond. We've been working on those things. We've got some of those reports back in the bond portion this evening. We'll report a little bit more on that, but a lot of successes going on. We had two of our students win in the photography contest on the state level, ASBA photography contest. We'll get to see their work down there next week as the board goes to that conference. But a lot of really good things happening all the way across the board. Whipple, Nicholas, junior high, high school, Linden, all of them are really a lot of great things when you go to those sites and see the kids performing and the stuff that they're doing is just really amazing. So I can't wait to see what the second half of the year holds for us and kind of where we're at. We've had some difficult times just recently that we've worked through, but the community, the support has been great, and the support of the staff has been wonderful too. So
Thank you. Item 3.6, future board agenda items. Is there anyone that has anything that they need to put on for a future date? Thank you. Item 4.1, approval of overnight and out-of-state travel. Mr. Housley.
Mr. President, members of the board, there's a couple for your consideration this evening. Sorry. Thing flipped upside down for me. Mr. Marchant has asked Mrs. Abel will take 4 to 6 students with her to sorry about this. It's going all kinds of crazy. Mrs. Abel was asked to take 4 to 6 students with her to compete in the Ed Rising select SLHS Ed Rising Club. Select students will be notified in mid-January to be part of that competition. It's March 1st through the 4th in Tucson. Also, Mr. Marchand has asked that Derek Whipple and Caitlin O'Connell to take 12 student council members to the Arizona Association of Student Council state competition. That's in Sierra Vista in January, the 23rd to 25th. Also, Mr. Marchand asked that Mr. Gillespie be able to take 3 students from the robotics team for program training in Flagstaff at Coconino High School. That's the 3rd through the 4th of January. Mr. President, members of the board, I ask for your approval of these overnight and out-of-state travels at this time.
A motion for the approval of overnight and out-of-state travel is presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item 5.1, approval of new positions, Mr. Housley.
Mr. President, members of the board, we bring before you this evening 2 positions for your consideration. Over the last couple of years, we've added a significant amount of devices to our network, and we haven't changed the size of our IT department. So currently, we have the director of IT, we have a student information systems manager, and then we have 2 guys that work on all the rest of the computers around the district. The student information systems manager manages that portion, which helps get things right with counting student population and getting the right report to the state and our funding. And so that's their only job, and it's pretty demanding. And so we have basically the director and 2 other people taking care of almost 2,000 devices, plus the network that runs them. And so we asked for your consideration this evening on an IT solutions technician to support the transition to more digital network, including Google Classroom, Beyond Textbook, PowerSchool, and other things. So this position essentially will not only do the technical side of things, but when we implement anything in the programs that we currently implemented, make sure that they actually hit the ground running. We have a number of teachers that are fantastic at Google Classroom. We have some that are still trying to get it off the ground, and they need some support. And IT support is where that would be helpful. Transitioning, being able to go sit down with to work through some things on PowerSchool, or the software end, but also the hardware end. So that's a proposal that we bring to you this evening. Also, we bring to you this evening, coming into the school year, we reduced the district office size by 1 employee. We transferred to another, and then we didn't fill that, another department, and then we didn't fill that position. We do have some members of our staff that may, in the next year or so, decide that it's time to retire. That's completely up to them. But we have some real need to be able to cross train with each of our positions. Now we have, and so the desire is to cross train not only accounts payable and accounts receivable and inventory and those things, which is a pretty heavy job. It's a heavy lift, and we have 1 person doing that right now. But to cross train, that's going to take some time. So we want to get that person in to be able to cross train them now, and then also cross train with payroll and also some of the other things that are in there. So if for some reason someone has to be out for a time, we have someone to pick up the slack there. So our intention would be to hire this position in January and to cross train through this year. So as those retirements come up in the next year or so, that we have someone that can perform the job. If one of those positions left, any one of the positions in the district office left tomorrow, it would be a long training process for any one of those. So we're just trying to be a little proactive with that. And so we bring those 2 positions for your consideration.
I make a motion for approval of the new positions as listed.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item 5.2, approval of resignations, retirements, and termination. Mr. Housley.
Mr. President, members of the board, for your consideration this evening, we bring the following individuals' resignations. Jennifer Cabrera, a paraprofessional, Whipple Ranch. Stephen Ford, a bus driver, Diana Uwe, sub-bus driver, Lisa McGowan, Nicholas Homestead Food Service, and Amy Ratzloff, a junior high paraprofessional. Also for your consideration this evening, the termination of Kelly Covert, transportation dispatcher. I bring those for your consideration this evening.
Make a motion to approve the resignations, retirements, and termination.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item 5.3, approval of new hires and transfers.
Just for your consideration this evening, the transfers of Dwayne Burbridge, contract bus driver to a sub driver, Donald Coughlin from a contract bus driver to the warehouse clerk and sub bus driver, and then Dimitri Suave, a sub bus driver to a contract bus driver, 6 hours. Bring those for your approval this evening.
A motion for approval of new hires and transfers.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item 5.4, approval of substitutes. Mr. Housley.
As certified subs, we bring the following names: Cynthia Alcantar, Carrie Holcomb, Laura Kohler, and Constance Mayo. And as a classified substitute, James Hilton, a sub bus aide. Bring those for your consideration.
I move for the approval of substitutes as listed.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes also. Item 5.5, approval of stipends, volunteers, and event work.
Tonight, we bring the following for your consideration: high school boys soccer. These are postseason. It was 1 week into the postseason, so Seth Jane, Andrew Brumfeld, and Eric Rask. Also, as high school girls soccer, 1 week into the postseason, Chris Ellis and Clarissa Bilby. High school volleyball, 1 week into the postseason, Melissa Brimhall, Katie Klein, and Vanessa Tidwell. High school cross country, 2 weeks into the postseason, Jerry Butler and Mike Hall. Sports stipends, junior high boys basketball, Shane Healy and Hal Frost. 7th and 8th grade boys basketball coaches there. Junior high girls basketball, Robin, I'm sorry, the last name is very difficult to pronounce. Excuse me, girls basketball. Previously, we sent Christine Rumses, and this Robin, Mrs. K will replace her. Sorry about that. And then volunteers, junior high boys basketball, Chase Halcomb, as assistant coach, pending his fingerprint clearance. Bring those for your consideration.
I'll make a motion to approve stipends, volunteers, and event workers.
Second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Doesn't look like we have any policy matters, so we'll go to item 7.1, bond update. Mr. Schubert, you have this one?
What kind of tag team on this one?
Yeah, we'll kind of share this one.
Okay.
So the bond update is we still have right around $587,000 of bond dollars remaining. We've been looking into different ways to expend those dollars, and we're looking at projects within the auditorium as far as safety of the equipment in there. And we're also looking at video camera equipment for the remainder of the schools. The problem is that the $587,000 isn't going to cover everything that we need to fix within the auditorium and with getting cameras. So I believe we'll be meeting with the bond oversight committee and getting their input as to what they believe that money should be going towards. Mr. Housley?
Currently, we were in, I know the board asked for a budget to come forward. We were waiting on a report from the auditorium, which we received late last week, early this week. And the extent of what we need to repair in there, we're anticipating that might be right around $500,000. That's just a real loose estimate. We have requested an estimate from the company to actually give us some real tight financials. We're in the waiting for that. Once we receive the report, now we knew what we can receive a request from. that report did take some time. They go in and they look at all the systems. They look at all the counterbalances, the curtains, the lighting, all the stuff that's above the kids on the stage, and look at safety and other concerns there. We also have an architect coming in to look at ADA accessibility to the bottom of the house, to look at our restrooms, and to kind of give us an idea of what could be done and then what the price tag might be on those things. Where we are, our only concern is that where the price tag is actually going to end up in fall. But we do feel like we can address a lot of those things in our estimation. So we're looking at that. The other piece, the cameras at each of the schools, we've got an estimate back on that. It's right around $300,000 for all the wiring that needs to be run, the cameras, and then the service agreement to run those systems during the year. So those two projects alone, we're trying to figure out some other sources. Those aren't the only needs. Those are two of the highest price tag areas. We did look at White Fleet buses. A brand new one is $77,000. We do have a need to add additional ones of those buses. We also looked at used White Fleets. We feel like we could get those for about $20,000 to $30,000 with about 80,000 miles on them. So we're still exploring those, but these kind of give you some dollar figures to what we were talking about as far as the project. The only building we haven't put a secure entrance on yet is the district office, and we've got some plans on what that looks like. And so that's not a really significant budget, but there is something in there, but that's down the priority list a little bit, right? So there are some other things that we're exploring. We're also looking to see how we can pair our bond dollars with other funds that might be available as we move through the year. So just trying to make the best use of those dollars to get what we need from it.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Item 7.2, discussion and approval of updated contract revisions due to minimum wage.
Yes, sir. So when we presented salaries for this upcoming school year, we presented it to you with the knowing that those employees that were making under $12 an hour would not be getting a raise, and that we would be raising them to the $12 an hour minimum wage that's effective on January 1st. So there's a list before you of those employees who will need to have their contracts revised in order to pay them the $12 an hour beginning January 1st.
I'll move we approve the updated contract revisions due to the minimum wage increase.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this? Everybody, we've been working on this in preparation for this and in the future too, as this increases as we go also. So appreciate your efforts on that.
And just as a side note, this is the last known increase to the minimum wage. Everything from here on out is going to be based off the cost of living.
So I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. 7.3, salary schedule. You got this one too?
Yes, sir, I do. So before you are the cafeteria salary schedule, the classified salary schedule, and the substitute teacher schedule. We needed to increase the basic sub pay up from $88 a day to $90 a day in order to make the minimum wage amount. And everything else, the classified salary schedule, as well as the cafeteria salary schedule, is adjusting that to move to the $12 an hour, and this would be effective as of January 1st.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the salary schedule due to minimum wage increase.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item 7.4, discussion and approval of stipends dated back from fiscal year 2012 to current 2020.
So I'm not sure how much you've been following in the news. There have been some superintendents across the state who have been in trouble because of stipends that have been paid out. without having any approvals. I believe that we do a very good job of getting all of our stipends in front of the board for their approvals, but just to make sure that we have everything approved, in your packet, there is every stipend for the fiscal year 2012, and there's a page for every stipend in 2013, all the way up through the current year stipends. So just in order to cover ourselves, we're asking you to approve stipends that you've approved in the past, and if we've missed any, to approve those as well.
Mr. President, just a side note on that, the statute, why we went back to that, the statute of limitations on those are 7 years. So that's the advice of the Arizona School Board Association and the council that we have. So we went back, and instead of searching all the archives and finding the one that might have been missing, and how might that happen? So if you have a scale where you might pay, let's just say a head coach, the top of the scale is, let's say, $2,000, and the coach has been there for a while, so now they're making $2,200. And if that $2,200 wasn't come specifically and they're outside of the scale, that would be something that would be concerning for all of us. And so that's what happened in Apache Junction and other districts around. So the council was just go back, approve all the stipends. We could have gone back individually, but that would have taken a lot of man hours. And so we just went back and got all of them, and that's what's in front of you now.
Make a motion to approve the stipends dated back fiscal year 2012 to current year 2020.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Consent agenda.
Yes, sir. Tonight for you on the consent agenda, we bring to you the following for your approvals: the ratification of our expense and payroll vouchers, the ratification of the junior high, high school, and food service activity revenues and expenditures, approval of the governing board regular meeting minutes on November 14th, 2019, and we also bring for you the following donations. Community members from various locations around the town have donated $85 to the High School Robotics Club. Standard Electric donated a power box and breakers for the new robotics facility, valued at $1,122.50. The 2020 Argosy Foundation First Robotics New Team Growth Grant awarded the high school robotics team $4,000 for the team's registration fee for the first year and $2,000 for the second year registrations fee. The 2020 AZ First Rookie Grant awarded the high school robotics team $3,000 toward their first year registration fee and $2,000 for their second year registration fee. Gene Smith donated tools and supplies to the Sholo Construction Technology Program valued at $3,000. Colleen Kelly donated 4 cameras to the high school photography department valued at $2,100. GHA Technologies donated tech items to our tech department valued at $4,000. We bring this to you tonight for your approval.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? As usual, our gratitude to each one of them for their donations. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. What's left? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second the motion.
I got a motion in 2 seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Appreciate you being here this evening. Be safe.